Okay, so last class, as you see on my screen, I started Selenium and how to start a Selenium project. So far before like last couple of weeks, before last week actually, we did all the practices just Java, right? Um, IntelliJ Java, you already familiar with how to create a project. Uh, but Selenium, it will be little bit different because you need extra libraries. Like for Java, we had libraries like JDK 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe right now is maybe 20 or 19, the latest. So those are Java, but Selenium has extra libraries to use to automate your web pages, means web-based applications. And those applications, right, um, are actually part of your maybe test cases, right? Test scenarios. So what we will do today, so how to find the locators like web elements. If you go to any screens, right, any web pages, you will see a lot of web element, like for example, some buttons, text, link, picture, maybe drop down, right? Um, some boxes, those anything you see on the web screen, it is called web element. So let me go to one of my, okay. So right now you see this is Zoom, right? Everybody can see. So you see that this is a logo Zoom. This is a web element. This one of this link, like button launch meeting. This is a link. This is also a web element. Anything you see, this is a another link like download now, join from the browser. Everything is part of your actually web pages, right? And those are web element. And when you automate this screen, that means you are saying to WebDriver that, okay, please check if this screen has this zoom. Please check if there is a link support. Please check if there is, for example, um, if I go to one of the screen, okay. Okay, let me go to one of the web page that you can practice also. Okay, salesforce.com, for example. So if I type, so if first of all, you'll go to either maybe Google Chrome or Firefox or Edge browser or like any browser, right? And then you will search something. Like for example, I am searching one of the website. You can search maybe Amazon.com. You can search Udemy.com, YouTube.com, maybe Chase.com, TDBank.com, or anything, right? Every company has web-based application. You can access those, right? Like some of the applications are free. Some of the application you need maybe user ID and password. For example, your bank application, you need user ID and password. But if you want to go to YouTube, you probably don't no need user ID and password, but you can have login credential if you want to have. Okay, somebody. Okay. Hi, Gilma. Um, uh, so we just started like 5 minutes ago, maybe 4 minutes ago. So, okay. Highly. We just started 4 minutes ago, so you didn't miss much. I was just explaining that anything you see on the screen, those are part of web element. So to work with Selenium, the first job will be finding those web elements. Means if you say, okay, find here this Gmail link, right? So you have to tell Selenium WebDriver that, okay, where is that Gmail, or what is the location, or what is the address of this Gmail, right? What is the location of this Google logo or title, right? What is the location of this search bar? So all of this location you have to provide, and you have to figure it out. There is a technique, and today's class will be all about locators, all about locators. So I will actually follow up from last class. As I said, we started a little bit of automation, but today's class will be all about locators. I follow one of the YouTuber, actually. I like him. This is Navin Automation Lab. I will start from his website. Try to automate his website. Just so everybody can hear me and everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it here.
Okay. So this is one of the website I will be trying to practice. So Navin Automation Lab, right? Maybe open as a incognito. Okay. Okay. So this website will be actually practicing. So Navin Automation Lab, and then this is open. Okay. You see that lot of stuff here? We'll try to figure it out where those stuff, like, as we'll find out the locators of those. And if you see, okay, if I further go, then open cart. So this is actually our main website will be. Let me just keep it somewhere so that we can actually use this. So this is our URL. So another URL, I will try to show you some maybe use cases or test cases. That will be Salesforce. Maybe your Udemy course followed this Salesforce one also. Salesforce, you see that Salesforce? So salesforce.com or something, or login Salesforce. Or maybe I'm just typing directly to the URL. Login. That Salesforce application. Okay, login dot Salesforce maybe. Yeah. Okay, this one. This application also another one that maybe we'll be using today. So this one also. I will do this. So these two websites for today will be used for a locator practice. So now going back to these two websites. So I gave a little bit of information about locators last class. So I will continue with those concepts. So this is also interview questions. How many types of locators available in Selenium WebDriver to work with, and also the name of those locators. Sometimes you will be asked these questions. Sometimes you will be asked a specific question of each locators, how you will figure it out. Okay, this is this locator, or why you will be using this locator versus this locator. So locators will be important from not only from work point of view, not only from just automation point of view, it will be very important from your interview point of view also. Interview is actually will be covering locators also. So let me go to my IntelliJ now and create one brand new class maybe. That class name will be locators concept. So we already started this project, right? So Selenium day one. So I can create another folder, right? And this folder name is package. So day one, that will be Selenium, maybe day two. Package, Selenium, day two, right? So this is Selenium day two. And now under Selenium day two, I will create a class. So creating class means in the future, you will see each class means one of the test cases. And creating class exactly same you saw in Java class, right? Creation of Java class. So internally, when you write login stuff, that will be maybe automation with WebDriver, but the folder structure is exactly Java folder structure you saw. So that's why we first learn how to actually work with Java, right? So basic of Java. So Selenium will be on the top of Java code, right? So Java already there. Java is kind of bed, right? Selenium will be on the top of it. So Selenium has already built in classes, interfaces, right? Reusable libraries that we already, first I'm going to pom.xml. You see that? Last class, I explained that, okay, going forward for automation practice, we will be using Maven project. Instead of Java project, will be Maven project. So Maven project will be more advanced from a simple Java project, because there will be a XML folder or a file where you can actually add any type of dependencies. Means you don't have to manually import. So you have to just add this 3 line of code. So for example, Selenium, the latest version of Selenium is 4.8, right? So if after 5 months, the version is 5.1 or 4.10, so all you have to do, just change this number. Just change this number and refresh your project. So you will have all the latest code. So you don't have to do anything. So this is one of the biggest reason. So maintenance, right? Build management tools. So Maven project will be easier to maintain with this, all the dependencies, all the builds, right? So that's why we'll be using Maven project going forward. So now, and everything is kind of same, other than that, like regular Java project you did earlier. So under Selenium day two, I'll be creating a new class, and that class will be locator concept, for example. Locator concepts. Can close all of this actually. So what is locator concept? So locator concept, inside the locator concept, I will actually show you all 8 type of locators and how you can actually find them from one of the web-based application, right? Web-based application means anything that you need internet, right? And you have a web server, for example, web application like Facebook, Twitter, like YouTube, all the bank applications, right? That web-based, right? Web-based. So now, so what is the first step? So always the first step is public static void main, right? Because we did not start any kind of framework or any shortcut. So for regular process for Java, anytime you want to run anything, you have to write public static void, right? This is kind of key starting point of any Java run. So just write public, then static, then void, then main, then in the parenthesis, it will be string uppercase, right? And then square bracket. And after the square bracket, it will be any variable, any name is okay, but usually you will find most places says arguments, args. So this is the line you have to always write for regular Java test. So inside that, right, you'll be writing all of your Selenium code. So what we saw last time, we saw test login, for example, this one, right? So we went to hubspot.com and then the scenario, there is some test cases, right? Steps. So go to Google Chrome and then then type hubspot.com or login page, right? So this is the first 1 and 2 steps. And then third step is in the login page, right? You will see user ID and password and login button, right? But user ID, you have to type something user ID. So for example, I just typed user ID, this one, password, this one, and click on login. So after click on login, I want to check that, okay, it is not basically working. Working means this user ID and password is not valid. So if it is not valid, it will show that please provide user ID password, or this is not the right user ID, something like that. So we tested last week that, right? So for example, if I just maybe run one more time, let's see it is working or not still. Okay, it is working. So since it's just like few steps, it ran like very fast. In maybe 2 seconds, everything was done. And the browser was closed also, because I said driver.close. I said after executing these steps, close the browser. Somebody has a question? No, okay. So similarly, today, instead of hubspot.com, I'll be using one of these, as I said, Salesforce login or Navin Automation Lab. So let me go to my locators concept and start writing those. So as I said, driver, right? So you have to, so if you see here, right? WebDriver, this WebDriver already is part of your Selenium library. So you are just recalling them. You are just recalling them and creating a new object. So anytime you use new means you are creating a new object. So you are creating a new Chrome driver object to use your steps, right? In the steps and automate your page. So similarly, I will do another thing, WebDriver driver. So if you write WebDriver. You see that WebDriver? It is already part of Selenium. You are just calling them. And this is an interface. So in this interface, you have a lot of reusable methods. So WebDriver, drivers. So what I did, I just, okay, so one thing I can do, I can keep WebDriver driver outside of the main method and keep them as a static. That means I will never use, I will never change the this variable name or anything. So if I just, so that I can still use this inside. So I will use outside. So I will give static. So when you use static, right? Static means it cannot be changed. It cannot be changed. It will be fixed value. The driver, you cannot change the driver also. Is the variable name also will be changed, almost same. So now I will be using those inside the main method. So as I said, you always have to create a object and it will be the word new. So now driver. So if you use Chrome browser, you will be using, you will be creating an object for Chrome browser, right? Chrome driver. And if you use maybe Firefox, it will be Firefox. If you use Edge, it will be Edge. If you use Safari, it will be used. You have to create Safari driver also. But for next few classes, right? We'll be using Chrome driver. Then I will show you other browsers also. Chrome browser will be most popular anywhere you go. Everybody use Chrome browser. So driver equal to new. You see that the word new? And then you see that Chrome driver, Edge driver, Firefox driver, Safari driver. You see that all the available drivers are here already. Because you already imported this WebDriver from the library. So since you already have this WebDriver in this class, so this class already have access to this. You see that? So now since I'm said I will be using Chrome driver, I have Chrome driver. So this driver now we can use for Chrome driver execution. So as part of Java, you have to give a semicolon at the end. And now the next step, if you reviewed last class. So this means you are now going to Chrome. You have access to go to open a Chrome browser. So now you are in Chrome browser. So next step is go to one of these, right? So if I go to one of these, for example, Navin Automation Lab, what is the step? Step is now you have driver, right? So anything you want to type, always start with driver. So driver, if you type dot, then you have all the available options from the driver, right? You see that get. So if you want to write your URL, you see that the second option, string URL. If you want to go to any website, string URL. So since URL is a string, right? It will go inside double quotation and just paste your URL. So what does that mean? That means if I just run this code, I should be able to land on Navin Automation Lab open cart. So what does that mean? if I run this, let's see if I can go to Navin Automation Lab or not. Run. Okay, I'm here. You see that? I didn't do anything. I just ran this 2 line of code that I wrote for Selenium WebDriver, and now I'm here. So what I can do, if I go to my account, right, and then register. So if you see, there is a lot of fields, right? First name field, email field, telephone field, lot of things. So instead of that, let me go to this page. So this page, I will start with the locator concept. You can also go to the previous page also, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so this one. So instead of this, I'm just giving. Okay, let me run again and check if it goes to same page. So far everybody is understanding what I just did.
Yes.
So basically you are just using your Java project concept and try to automate your website, that a test website basically. So far we opened Chrome browser, and then in the Chrome browser we typed Navin Automation Lab register page, and we are now in this page, right? So this is maybe your QA. If you go to, for example, you are working in Chase Bank, right? Like it can be chase.com and account details or some page. Maybe as a QA, you have to automate this page. So your role is basically as a QA, there's 2 types of role, right? Manual testing versus automation testing. If you are doing automation testing, you have to automate with some kind of programming language. If you're not doing automation testing, just manual testing, all of you already have manual testing concept, right? First, analyze the requirement. Based on your analyze, start writing test scenarios and write test cases. Then create a test plan, like a complete document that how you will be testing, what type of testing will be done, right? And then once code deployed to QA, you will start executing those test cases. Means manually, right? For example, you will go to this page. For example, your page document saying under registered account, there will be a couple of sections, your personal details, your password, newsletter, right? 3 different section. And first section will have 4 different subsection and name, first name, last name, email, telephone, right? Second option will have password, confirm password, and third option will have you want to activate your subscription, right? So you see that all of this coming from your requirement. So based on your requirement, you are testing. So now for my testing, I have to register, right? And to register using automation concept, I have to figuring out the location of each web element. As I said, everything is web element in this page. You see that all of these links, drop down options, account, register, you see that this enter anything you want to enter here also. And on the right side also, you see a lot of things, right? The link, everything is web element. And before writing code, before actually providing your first name, you have to figure out that what is the location of this first name input field. So here comes the Selenium locator concepts. So now there are now going to locator concept, 8 types of locators. So 8 types of locators. Knowing the name or knowing the each type of locator's name is important for interview concept. So what are those actually? First one is ID. Last class, I used just the ID. So ID actually is a locator and also the unique attribute. So unique attribute, so attribute means some kind of character, right? So this is programming naming concept, the attribute, right? So for example, your attribute will be your height, your color, maybe your age, your phone number, your address, everything that will be representing you, right, will be your attribute, your characteristic, right? So ID, if you go to the, if you find the location and if any ID is present, right, you can use this ID as a location. So far, okay, if I go there, as I said, so we are looking for these fields. So we have to find out the location of these fields. And little in few seconds, I will come how to find. But before that, just figuring out all 8 types of locators. The second one, number 2 is name. So name may not be unique. So may not be unique. So name can be a common name. So it sometimes will be unique, sometimes will not be unique. Sometimes under same name, there will be 10 different ID. So that means name sometimes will be common name or parent name. So to find specific web elements, sometimes name will not work. So as of this, since you know name may not be unique, what is the conclusion? Conclusion is most of the time we will not be using name. So far out of these two, if interviewer asks by ID versus name, which one you will be using? You will always, your answer will be always ID, because ID is unique attribute. Name is not. Third, and third will be class name. So there is name and there is class name also. Similar way, your class name also may not be unique. So under one single class, there can be multiple names, there can be multiple IDs. So it's not unique. So when you specifically looking for some specific web element, so there might be duplicates. So class will not be unique. So out of these 3, your still preference is ID. Number 4, XPath. Number 4. So XPath is another one. And this is one of the most popular one and most reliable one. So if you have all of these 4, so you can actually use ID or XPath. But sometimes you will not have ID for some web element. Then you have to use XPath. So XPath is a big topic. There are multiple interview questions in XPath. because you can actually customize your own XPath. You can write your own XPath, and I will show you later. There will be some formulas to write XPath also. So XPath, I can. So XPath is not directly an attribute. This is not an attribute, but you will be using attribute to create an XPath. So it is not an attribute actually, but this is a, instead of that, you can say this is an address of locate or web element. Address of web element, so can be customized. What is, yeah, this is a big topic, so I will come little later. Number 5, CSS selector. So CSS selector. So similarly, this one also not an attribute, and also can be customized, and also address of an web element. But this CSS selector has less option to customize than XPath. XPath has more option and many different ways actually. So what is number 6? Link text. So link text. So it will be actually, you can see this is exactly not attribute. This is just, you have to find based on the link, and inside that link there are some text, right? For example, if you see that this is a link, right? And this link, if you click on this, you will find some other page. But if you go there or here, right? You see that there are some link here, right? And if you go there, you will be actually redirecting to another page. But the thing is, this link has some kind of text. You see that this text is forgot your password. This is a plain English, right? Those are text. And if you see this, you will be using basically those text to find the location or address of this link. So link text we'll see. Number 7. So again, link text sometimes can be duplicate also, and sometimes can be blank also. So sometimes you cannot also use link text. So number 7, partial link text. So this is very similar to link text, but you can use, so for link text, you have to give entire text on the link. But partial link text, basically, you can partially give half of the link or 1 word or 2 word, and is kind of wild key. So if this is not a duplicate, if this is unique, that with this 1 word or 2 word, also you can use partial link text. So these two we'll check also today. So all of them we'll see today actually. And the last one, tag name. And last one is tag name. So tag name is basically HTML tag. You will see this also. So every code, beginning of the code line, there is a tag. Every code block has a tag. And this tag sometimes is unique. And sometimes you can figure out the web elements using this tag name also. Tag name is, okay, waiting, just HTML tag. So all of these 8 types, right, we will see here now. So first one actually is name, right? Again, coming back. Okay, so before going to the example, just interview question here. Out of these 8, there always ID has the first priority. ID has the first priority, and then XPath and CSS selector. So XPath and CSS selector will be used a lot, different companies. So sometimes you have to follow basically you have to follow your company's structure, right? So you will see that, okay, you are joining in a new company, and when you see their code, right, you will see everybody is using XPath. So all of the sudden, if everybody uses XPath, you will be also following XPath concept. You are not using CSS selector. Another company, maybe you are going and there everybody is using CSS selector. So just follow your company's previous coder or existing actually format. Basically, you are just following existing format. But for testing, if for example you cannot figure out XPath, but you can figure out CSS selector and your code is working with that CSS selector, you can use this. But first, just check if you can find out XPath, because everybody used XPath. If you cannot find, you can use ID, you can use CSS selector, link text, if anything is unique and it is working, so you can use this. But always first priority here, ID, then XPath, then CSS selector, then tag name, maybe partial link text, name class will have always, name and class will have the last priority because they are not usually unique. So starting now, name. ID we already saw, but I will see ID also. So name, right? So going to here. So far we used, which one you used? Okay, now in automation, right? On this page we are right now. If you right click here, I actually showed last class also how to find the locators, means all of this ID, name, class, CSS selector, right? XPath, link text. Right click, you see that there is one word, inspect. You will click here. And now it can be under bottom of the page or it can be right side, depending how you want, right? So for me, it is right side, maybe for you on the bottom of the page. So you see that elements, console, source, network, 3 tabs. So you will be under element. So under elements of the web elements locators, right? You can figure out. So you see that there is another one, arrow button. If you click this will be blue, right? Blue means it is active now. So if you move now on any web element, it will directly point out exactly where is that. You see that here? So right now, I am on first name input field and I click it. You see that this is the place where you can find name, tag name, all the 8 stuff that I just said, right? Locators, all 8 locators. This is the place. But what is available here? I can see, you see that input, right? This input is actually tag name. You see that tag name, the number 8? Number 8 is input. You see that name, right? You see that first name? This is name. If you go more, you see that ID. You see that ID? This name, ID, you see that class? You already see like 4 or 5 of them, right? Tag, name, ID, class. 4 there, right? And you also can create XPath from here and also create CSS selector. You have already 6 options out of 8. So everybody can see how there is a 6 options. I can see ID, I can see name, I can see class, I can see tag name. These 4 I can clearly see. And also from there, I can create XPath, I can create CSS selector. Everybody is clear now what I just saw here? Hello?
Yes.
So every web locator or web element you are finding, you have to go same process. So now, since I started name, right? So as I said, maybe on this page, right? There are more names inside some other folder. You see that this is just a folder structure. You see that also this arrow div. I can see this name under div. You cannot guarantee that this does not have a name also, right? So that's why for now, I will just show you how to write name. Okay, go to IntelliJ. So for name, since you have driver, right? And you already in Navin Automation login page or register page. All you have to do, driver, start with driver, drivers dot, and the option is always find element. Whenever you looking for a single web element, right now we are looking for single web element, that will be find elements. In the future classes, you will see you are looking for multiple web elements, that will be web elements, right? Find elements, but we are not using find elements now, only one element, find element. And there is this is by is a class, and anytime you are just by, you see that anytime you just type by, now you will see all the options you are looking for. All the web element options, partial link text, ID, class name, name, CSS selector, link text, tag name, XPath. You see this all 8 options are here. But you are looking for name. You see that name? And now all you have to give name. So you already know the name, right? What is the name here? First name. I'm just copying this. And going back to my IntelliJ. And this is a string, name is a string, right? So giving inside the double quotation. So, and then what you do? So you already know your address of this first name input field. All you have to do, so what you want to give first name, ABC, XYG, anything you give, right? So now, and whenever you want to type something, there is a already WebDriver method already available, right? Whenever you type just dot, all the methods will be available. You see that send keys? So if you have any button, right, you'll be click option tick this, right? Send keys means you will type something, some value you want to type in some box. That will be send keys. There are more stuff, right? But you'll see later. Send keys is the option. And I'm saying that, okay, my first name is maybe I can give my name, right? For example, Shanto123. This is my user ID, for example, right? If you see here, oh, actually, oh, this is just the first name. Okay. Oh, this is okay. This is not the user ID. Okay. So I can use a simple first name. Uh, first name. First name one. For example, first name one is your first name. So this line is done. So if you just want to double check if your first name is working or not. See if it is working or not. Run. Everybody can see it just typed my first name. I didn't type this. This is Selenium WebDriver typed it. Everybody saw?
Yeah.
Similar way, I will do rest of this four with the name. Or four, or you can give, okay. Yeah, four. So same thing, I will type. I'm just copy paste and you'll see all you have to do. You have to change this first name location. You see that this first name location? This is the first name location. Now you will see same thing, right click here, inspect last name. You see that now it is last name. Same thing, you will go here, inspect. You see this name is email. Same thing, you will go here, inspect telephone. You see that all of them has name, right? This is a simple website just for practice. That's why they usually keep it everything. Everybody can see that all four, right, has everything. So now last name. Go to IntelliJ. So I just copied. So I will put it here, last name. And also, let me check. After that, email ID and then telephone number, right? I'm just, and then telephone number will be maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this 4 line, all we have to do, we have to check the locators, right? This is the last name. Same thing, I'll go to now. Phone number, email, right? Not type, email, name. And text one is phone number, right? go to this arrow and click phone number. This phone number came as telephone. So third line, we are fifth line, right? We are not actually typing anything. We will actually click, right? If you go to here, I want to go to click here. If I just check what is that name, you'll see that this is actually, this click has no name, right? If you see that, let me check again. Everybody can see that click has no name. Which one has name? That one we will figure it out. Anything like this one, privacy policy, this one, input has name. You see that we have to actually click on this, right? Privacy policy, but this one has name, agree. So this part is name. That's why I'm not actually clicking on continue. I'm clicking on privacy policy. So this one is agree. So everybody understood where I found these five actually web element. This is the most important part of this today's class, figuring out where you can find those. Okay. So now click is, this one is basically not typing anything. You are clicking it, right? Remember I said whenever you type dot, there will be an option. Click, you see that click? So far, you already automated. My expectation is I will type all of them and then go here. Let me run these steps if I see if it is working or not. I'm not doing anything. You see that? Everything written and also these privacy policies checked. You saw that? Everybody saw, right?
Yeah.
So this is so fast. That's why automation will be saving a lot of your time. The writing test cases, test script will be, you need time. But once you are done, you can use these test cases again and again and again, anytime you need. And as you see, for regression purpose, right? It is saving a lot of time actually. Preparation point is you need time, but otherwise running is straightforward and faster. Okay, so this name concept, I hope everybody understood the name part, right?
Yeah.
Now I will go to actually, so ID part, last week I showed you ID. You still want ID again? Or I will go to next one, class. Or I will show you ID also, just in case. I'm just copy. Okay. Same thing, I will do ID also. So let me go and check everything. So the value will not be changed. You see that value will not be changed. All I have to change, instead of name, I will change ID. Dot, you see that ID? Just ID. So you don't have to do anything. Just change ID. This value we have to change based on ID. inspect. So by also ID. So far you understood, right? By name, by ID. So we have to double check if first name, last name, email, telephone is same ID or not. Go there. First name. What is ID? Input first name. This is not the same as first name. So name was first name, but ID is input first name. So I'm just clicking this and go to IntelliJ. Instead of first name, I'm giving input first name. Same thing, it will be maybe input last name. If you go check. Yes, input last name. Then email ID, right? This is input email, same thing. Then telephone, right? This is also input telephone. And let's see if agree has ID or not. Agree does not have ID. Let's see continue has ID or not. Okay, continue also does not have ID. Let's see any of these has ID or not. Actually, yeah, since we are just practicing ID, we don't need to click any of this. Just, I think, remove this line because this one does not have ID, right? We don't need this. We just want to make sure that, okay, our code is working or not. So you are actually not using this code, right? So if you're not using this code, that means you are just commenting out. So you cannot use both at the same time. This line has a code, this line has a code. You cannot use both. So once it is done, this will not work. So you can have only one option. So now if I run this, let's see if everything working or not with ID. Okay, ID also working. You see that? Everybody can see? ID also working. Now I will go to class. So all of them are working.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Sure.
In that way, you use the input you put in there is just to try it is working, but you're not like putting like a wrong number to see, like you put everything right.
Yes. So this is not a test case actually. This is not a test case. So far today we are practicing how to figure out the web elements and how to work with web element. You see that from the last class, for example, if you go. So last class we used just the ID, right? But test case means anytime you want to check if this is correct or incorrect, that will be test case actually. Means the purpose of test case is checking something is right or wrong, right? You are comparing expected against actual. We are not doing anything actual and expected today. All we are doing, how to find all the web locators, using all the web locators and figuring out the addresses of each of these web elements. Because end of the day, this is the main task actually. If you don't know how to find out how to click on these tables, how to click on those, right? Drop down, right? How to search this, you cannot do anything. So you have to work with web pages, right? And each web pages has all kind of web elements. So, so Gilma, you understood what we are doing today?
Yeah, I get it better. Mhm.
Yeah. So we are not writing any test cases. Instead of that, we are just writing steps. That's part of test cases, but those are mandatory steps actually to complete your testing. Okay. So ID and name is done. So now I will start class. 1 or 2 class will be maybe good enough. Let me see. Okay, so actually class number 3 class. So same thing, driver. You see that driver dot find element and by, and you see that there will be a class. This is a class name. You see that class name? Class or class name, whatever you say. Okay. And then dot send keys. So this one you want to see. If you go there, right? Check with this select icon. If I click on this, there is a class also, right? You see that? Form control. All you have to do just double quotation and same thing, right? I can give same. So same thing I can just write for last name also.
I have a question. So
Sure.
by class name, so by class name we mean like, okay, so if it's a name, it needs like characters like A to Z, or if it's a phone number, it needs numbers. That's what it's right?
Numbers. So everything is actually is kind of, I'm writing as a string. Anything you give inside the double quotation, you are giving as a string, even though those are number, those are character. But what is the question? Can you repeat it again?
Like the class name that like the form control command.
Form control, this one?
Yeah, this command.
Yeah, so this one coming directly from this. You see that class, form control?
Okay.
So before we checked with name equal to first name, right?
Yeah.
Then we checked ID equal to input first name. And same thing also has class, form control. But there is a problem with class you already see. If I check here, this is first name, right? If I go to last name, last name also have exactly same class, right? Form control.
Yep.
So this is not unique, right? It's not unique.
Yeah.
It will not work eventually. But just for our class practice purpose, I'm showing you how to find class name also.
Okay.
So now if I run this, you will see it is working, but for one line only. If I write 3-4 line, it will not work because it will not be unique. You see that is nothing happens because class name is not unique. It is not working. To work on a specific field, it has to be unique. If there is more than 1 or 2, that means this is not one unique. So basically what happened, Selenium always start from top left corner. It will start looking from here. So maybe Selenium found form control somewhere in here. So it did not write anything. And when it reached here, it already deactivated, means it already found one time. So once it finds something here, it will stop. So it did not even reach here. You see that it did not even reach here.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why anytime you use any locator, make sure this is unique or not. And you will see that how it is unique or not actually later. So we clearly see that since class name is not unique, it is not working here. But this is the way you can use class name. So what is number 4? XPath. So XPath will be very, very important. And we will spend maybe little extra time here for now for XPath. Because XPath it has several interview questions. So XPath. So if you want to use XPath, right? There are several formula also you have to know. So let me write some formulas actually. Actually, before going to formula, so sometimes there is a shortcut also for XPath. Let me show you this. Okay. So for example, if you right click here, right? If you inspect, now you know your locators is somewhere in these two code. Your web element is right here. So you want to figure out the XPath. How you want to figure out XPath? Right click on this highlighted 2 line. You see that copy? You see that copy XPath. So this way you can actually, if you go back now, if you just paste it, you see that this is a XPath. So how this XPath actually works? So most of the time you are not copying and pasting. You are actually writing by yourself. You are actually writing it using the formula. So this is a shortcut way to check XPath, but sometimes you will see XPath is too long and it is not usable. Same thing, for example, if I show you another one. For example, this one, right? I have maybe right click, inspect. If I just copy XPath, let's see what comes here. You see that is so long. And maybe it will not work also. So this situation, right, you must have to create a customized XPath. Means you have to make a short XPath. So sometimes if you are lucky, you will figure out like this type of short XPath and it will work perfectly. But sometimes when you copy, it will be coming like, here is only 1 line, right? Sometimes you will see like 2-line XPath, and this is not reliable. So this situation, you have to write your own XPath. So now we are actually, will show how to write your own XPath. So first, what is the XPath option? Drivers dot find element, right? And whenever you type by, you see that XPath. This is the XPath, by XPath. And XPath will be also a string and will go inside the double quotation. I'm not giving the XPath right now because we will be creating XPath. And then dot. And send case is exactly same. So if you want to write first name, the value will be always same, right? Your user ID will be same, right? Your first name, last name will be exactly same. But the only thing we are checking the different way to find the location of web element. So so far we already saw name, we saw ID, we saw class name. Now we are checking XPath. And what is the formula to write XPath? So formula is actually the common formula actually I'm writing here. So common formula is, it will, if you want to write, so first of all, there are two types of XPath. There is an interview question. There is a absolute XPath. There is a relative XPath. So most of the time we will be using relative XPath. Means relative XPath is short version. Remember you saw like something like very long line, the second one with slash something. This is absolute XPath. And we will not use absolute XPath unless we really need it, actually, because these are so long. Most of the time we'll be trying to figure out relative XPath, and relative XPath will be starting with double slash, and absolute XPath will be starting with single slash. So this is one of the difference. And absolute XPath will be coming from grandparent. Then is a folder structure is like going far back, like grandparents, parents, then child, grandchild. There is a big long relationship you will see later. But relative XPath, there is a shortcut instantly on the child and some tag name. So right now the formula I'm writing, this is for relative XPath. And relative XPath, as I said, will be starting with double slash. And the formula is double slash, then tag name. And then square bracket. And then at. And then your attribute name. What attribute we saw so far? We saw several attributes, right? We saw ID, we saw name. So since ID is more reliable, I'm just giving ID. And then equal to. And it will go inside a double quotation. So ID, right? We already know the ID. Input first name, right? So if you saw ID and just type it here inside this, and then we will close the square bracket, and then anything else so far? No. So this is the excuse me. So this is the formula. Tag name, then open square bracket, then at, then attribute name equal to, in the quotation, the input first name, but whatever is the ID, right? And then closing square bracket. So this tag name, what is this tag name? Remember I said in this line, tag name is input. You see that INPUT input? This is the tag name. So now, if you think that, okay, I'm not sure about tag name, what you can do actually, if you are not sure in that situation, you can just simply give star, asterisk sign. So star means you are giving common tag name. So any tag name has this ID equal to input first name should work. Now, the question is that unique? How you can check if this is unique? So how you know that, okay, ID equal to input first name is unique? There is no duplicate or more than one. So there is option also. Whenever you see this inspect, right? So for example, you are inspecting, right? So you will type Control F or Command F. Then you will see on the bottom, there is a new line. You see that here now? Everybody can see
Yeah.
that it is saying type your CSS selector or XPath. So this will be to check if this is unique or not. So what I'm typing double slash. And then I'm giving star. You see that whenever I typed double slash star, right? How many web element is there? 315. Everybody can see?
Yeah.
So your target is to make sure 1 on 1, not 1 of 2, not 1 of 10, 1 of 1. 1 of 1 means it is unique. So now I will type open square bracket. Now this is not recognizable, right? This is not a valid command. So at ID. You can give at class, at ID, at any attribute you have here. Anything you see here, you see that like class, method, action, or anything you see, those are attributes. You see, anything you see this in red line, you see that in red, those are attribute. Everybody can see those red, right?
Yeah.
Those are attribute. And the blue color stuff, those are value from those attributes. And the beginning is the pink color, pink or purple. I'm not sure what is that color is, pink or purple. This is tag. For example, div is a tag, h1, p, form, these are tag. So this way you can actually figure out which one is attribute name, which one is tag name, which one is actually value, right? So now I want to actually going there. So ID is already input. So ID equal to, I'm giving ID equal to oh, actually, I gave single quotation. It will be double quotation. Okay, everybody can see now, one on one. We started with 355 or something, right? Now it is only 1 and 1, right? That means this is a unique ID. This is a unique XPath. What happened if I give, instead of ID, I give class? You'll see. Okay, so first, this is a unique XPath. So I'm copying this and giving here. You see that I have a placeholder here. So everybody can see, right? Where I just gave my XPath, exactly same thing. Instead of ID, you are just giving the XPath. And you just wrote this XPath, right? And this value is exactly same. So if I run this, if it works, that means my XPath is working. Okay, yeah, this is my XPath is working. Everybody can see, right?
Yeah.
And now let's see, I know that our class actually wasn't unique. Just let's prove that. How can we prove my class is not working? Just give class. Instead of ID, I'm just giving class. What was the class? Class was, right, form control, right? This was our class. You see that there are 6 classes, same name. Everybody can see?
Yeah.
That's why it did not work. It's not unique, actually. Okay, so after I review all other 3 or 4, then I will come back to XPath again, because XPath has more stuff. So far, you understood XPath also, right? This is number, XPath was number 4, okay? So number 5 will be CSS selector. So same thing, I'm just copying for now. But I'm not writing XPath. I'm writing dot, you see that CSS selector. So instead of XPath, you are just doing CSS selector. But CSS selector will not be same as XPath, right? So what is the formula of CSS selector? So there is a formula of CSS selector also. So for CSS selector is very similar formula, but it will not start with double slash. And also it will not have any kind of, what is that? Square bracket. So let me go the shortcut way first, and then I will write our own CSS selector. So close it. So if I right click here, inspect, we know these 2 lines, right? So right click, copy. You see that selector, copy selector, this is actually CSS selector. So now, similar way, we can double check if this CSS selector is unique or not. Control or Command F and type the CSS selector here. You see that this is 1 on 1. So this is a unique CSS selector. So if you see CSS selector, the formula, I will just go to IntelliJ, and actually this one was our XPath, right? Just write next to it so that you can compare the difference actually. Okay, CSS selector is much shorter actually. How this is shorter? You can see this double slash. You don't need double slash for CSS selector. No asterisk required. No open and close square bracket. And also no at. Instead of at, actually, you have hash, right? And all you have to do, hash and input first name. You don't even have to give any attribute name. You directly can give CSS selector like this. So if I run this, so you see that the formula difference here, it is hash and the value of the attribute you are using. Everybody can see?
Yeah.
This is just straightforward. No specific format like XPath. So XPath has very specific format you have to follow. But CSS selector, hash, and then the value of the attribute. So if I run this, let's see if it works or not. We are expecting it will be working because we already saw this is a unique value, right? Okay, it is working. CSS selector is working. So CSS selector is working. Now, what is the next one? So you already know like 5 types of locator. You already know how to work with 5 types of locators. So now we have 3 more, right? We have link, partial link text, partial link text, and tag name. Now, number 6 is link text. So what is link text actually? So link text, right? So anytime you see the login or any type of link, sometimes you will not find maybe ID directly or direct XPath. Proper XPath, you will not find it. Or maybe your XPath will be too long. In this situation, you have to figure out, okay, if link text or partial link text is shorter and more reliable or not. So same thing, right? Drivers dot find element. Process is exactly same for all the element. Only thing you have to figure out which one you are choosing out of 8. That's the only difference. By, if I say by, I will write link text. Link text will be also string. I'm just keeping this as a placeholder and dot send keys. And same thing, just writing first name. Or actually, first see what we will be using. Maybe we just use the click. Let me check. Which one? We saw this continue, right? Continue. Inspect. Okay, continue did not have any good stuff or privacy policy. Let me check. Okay, not privacy. This is a link, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So you see that this is a text for privacy policy. We can use this one. Click on privacy policy. Click on privacy policy. So we'll be using click. So everybody saw that what I'm using for link text, right? Everybody can see?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that why I'm using link text. So there is one interview question. How you know this code from this code if this is a link text? The answer will be, you see that anchor, the tag is anchor A. Anything start with A is a link. Anytime you will find anything start with A is a link. For example, if I go another website, right? It seems like okay, this is a link, this is a link, this is a link. You see that? Like right click, inspect. You see that? You see that A anchor? This is a link. So all the link will be starting with this A tag, means this is called anchor tag. If you right click this, you'll see also inspect. You see that A anchor? So this is an interview question. So how you know this is a link actually? So it start with anchor tag. So now we will figure out privacy policy, right? And we'll be clicking on that. How we can do that? Okay, go there. Instead of send keys, I will be selecting click option because I'm not writing anything. I'll just click it, right? Click. So link text, how we can find out link text. So, okay, there is a formula also. Or you can directly, you don't actually, okay. This is straightforward. This is not formula required. So all I have to do, I already said find by link text, right? So now go there and copy this text and directly paste it inside this double quotation. So you see that privacy policy here, privacy policy. This actually text matching. So usually what happened, this UI, right? Web page text and this text always match. But you're not gonna see any of this, right? Input first name, you see anything there? You're not gonna find, those are internal code. But this text, right? Link text under this privacy policy, this link text always visible on the top, on the screen actually. So that's why is a link text. Linked has a this text actually. So now, if I run this, let me, okay. If I run this, let's see what happened. It works or not. My expectation is basically it will go to this screen and click on this privacy policy. First, it will type first name because we have first name written. We can just comment it out also, just no first name, just click on link text. Okay, you see that it clicked properly. Everybody can see, right? So some company will have a lot of details about privacy policy. Since this is a test for automation practice website, so this is just like showing that, okay, it clicked properly and there is a screen opened. So you test actually passed. And you can also see is exit code 0. Exit code 0 means it passed successfully, means it executed successfully. We are not checking passing or failing right now. So everybody understood link text? So visible text on the link. Choose the option by.link text and insert inside the double quotation, you have to give the visible text of the link. So there is another link actually you can see. You see that login page? If I inspect this, first see if this is a link or not. If this is a link, it will also work. It seems like this is a link also, you see that? And login page is there. Everybody can see, right? You can check this one also. Instead of privacy policy, I can just put login text. What is that? Login page. If I click, and it will click properly or not. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it clicked. You see that login page? The page changed. It was here, right? And it click here and came back in this screen. Everybody can see, right? It is working. So link text always text matching with the web screen. That's why it is link text sometimes easier. Just choose the by link text and just copy and paste from the screen. That's it. You can give copy and paste from the screen, or you can directly go to the code like inspect web element and then copy from here also. Sometimes it is little confusing. You see that sometimes? You see that here, right? There is a, what is that? Stop point, right? So sometimes you have to figure out if this stop point is part of this or not. Like it seems like stop point is not part because you see that there is no stop, right? Symbol. So sometimes you have to double check if whatever you see here, whatever you see here, just cross check and then copy and paste. So so far your number 6 is done, right? So number 7, partial link text. So now sometimes you will see there are some links is like 2-3 line. This time you don't need all of these 2-3 line actually. Just give some partially some partial field actually. So for example, if I go, where is that? So here, right? So your privacy policy has 2 words, right? So you may see there is another link has like 20-30 word and this is like 3 line long. So all you have to do just give 1 or 2 word like wild key and check if it is working or not. So partial link text will be also exactly same. Driver dot find element and by, you see that partial link text. So partial link text, for example, I'm giving instead of what is that? Instead of entire privacy policy, I'm just giving policy. I'm giving just policy. I'm not giving everything. And I'm giving inside the double quotation and then dot click. Let's see if it works or not. You see, it figured it out actually. So the purpose of partial link text is basically giving shorter form of the entire link text. It's kind of working same way. So since it is working, so you can use partial link text also here. So what is the last one? So last one is tag name, right? So what is tag name? I already explained, right? These are all tag name. div, ul, div, form action, the beginning of the block, beginning of the block. And if you just check this, right? Beginning of this block is input. Input is the tag name. So what happen if I want to go something okay. Something okay. On the right side. Login page. So you can check actually any of these tag name. Okay, so for example, this is a new customer, right? So okay, so new customer, I'm going just new customer. If okay, right click, inspect. This is a link, and this is H2. So what does that mean? So tag name is continue. Okay, same thing you can do. You can also, you can check, okay, go to this, inspect, and check if tag name is A or so we'll check if tag name is this, then write something like that. Okay. Inspect, okay, H2. Okay, go to write tag name now. Just number 8. So tag name, actually sometimes tag name will not be used for your test cases, because tag name is very common one, right? Means under the tag name you may have multiple web element. So this is sometimes is very important, because if, for example, if you go to this Control Command F and just type tag name as A, you see that this is 81. This tag name A 81, this is not unique. So tag name tag name is sometimes useful, but most of the time it's not unique. So you will not be using tag names so much for your test cases, but you'll be using tag name for creating XPath or CSS, XPath mostly, because your XPath needs some kind of tag name, sometimes specific tag name, sometimes just asterisk as a common tag name. So if you give, for example, what is other tag name? Instead of A, right? So I can see LI. You see that LI? LI has a tag name. Now, if I give button, button is a tag name also. You see, button has 7 tag name. Now, if you open this button, span, if you just type span, you see that even span has 10 tag name. So tag name will be used actually when you, in the future classes actually. Remember I said, what is that? We'll be using a lot for finding multiple web element. So driver dot, you see that find element, this is only single, right? But in the future classes, we'll see we need more than one web element, find elements. That time you definitely need tag name to figure out list of web elements. So find elements will give you a list of more than one web element. So that's another interview question. When you use find element versus when you use find elements. So find element will be figuring out only one web element. Find elements will be giving you more than one web elements as a list. So tag name we are not using here because it will not give you the exact web element. So we'll cover tag name in the actual future class. So I said all of these are done. But XPath, right? XPath has some more formulas. So I'm going to XPath a little bit more. So if you go to XPath formulas, right? You can actually customize your XPath many different ways. For example, it will start with like double slash, and then so you will give tag name, and then formula is, I'm just writing the formula, and then square bracket, not square bracket, and then attribute, and then equal to double quotation, attribute value, and then close square bracket. So this is formula number 1. Everybody can see, right? This is the most general formula for XPath. And I already said, if you don't know a specific tag name, you can always give asterisk sign, like asterisk sign. So what is the another one? So for example, you have one value and this value is still not unique. So what you can do? So now you said you are giving class. Class is not unique enough. Class has maybe 6, 7, 10 class. Now you want to actually use this and give any additional attribute also. That means you have to write another and then at. So this could be attribute 1. Another could be attribute 2. So this will be more unique. Everybody can see, right? You have to just implement those basically. So what are some other options? The other options are you can use built-in contain option. So you can use the word contain. So contain means maybe you are not sure, okay, your attribute has this word, but you know the partially this word is present. So you are doing exactly same thing. So just copy this. And now you will be changing little bit inside. So I am actually changing this, removing all. So always start with slash and tag name, right? And now contains, the word contains. This is the most common one. Even at my work, I use this one a lot. The contain is like most popular one because sometimes you are giving partially the word. So contain, and then actually this is not contain, this is actually contains. And after the content, you will be giving some attribute in the parentheses. And how you are giving this? You are always giving first attribute name. So attribute name, and then a comma. And then inside a single quotation, it will be value. So you see that you are giving attribute and then you are giving value. So if you go there, if I go there, right? So I can do, you see that attribute can be type, right? Attribute can be type, and then, so let me copy and paste. So tag name, right? What is tag name here? Input, right? Just, and contains and attribute name. I can give anything here. Attribute name can be name, right? Or class, or so attribute name is name. And what is the value? First name. You see that one-on-one? So this is just like option. You can actually create your own XPath, actually. I'm just giving some example here. What are some other important thing that you can actually, so you can also do same thing and right? So for example, you can give attribute 1 value and then a word and. And similarly like this. So attribute to value. So this is another option. And as I said, this option is very popular, and there is another one more last option I will be showing today. Contains with text. This is just you want to add multiple contents. Now contains with text. What does that mean? That means you'll be typing similar thing, maybe. Actually. And how you are writing text. So you are saying okay, contain with text is very similar. Just thinking, okay. Oh, okay. The word text actually. So you will always start with tag name, and then the word contains, and content will be is lowercase, right? And then in the parenthesis, you will be giving the word text. And if the word text will have another parenthesis and value, and value will be basically in single quotation, and also not square, not curly bracket, square bracket, and then value. So it is very similar, right? This one just give you attribute name and then value, and this one I'm saying contains text instead of attribute name. So for example, I'm not sure about attribute name. I just want that value equal to this. So this one will be your last option. So same thing actually can do with AND option here. You have to close this with actually parenthesis, right? So if you want to do with two text, all you have to do. Text to text one. Okay. Okay, so these are actually contents. So these are the most actually important one. Another one is also will be important. Start with sometimes actually very useful. Tag name, and then square bracket, and then you will write start and then dash with, and again same thing, bracket at attribute and comma then value. So these are like 5 or 6 formulas that you'll be using a lot for your future classes, actually. So far, anybody has any question? So these are just formula, that XPath formula that we'll be using in the future classes. Hello?
No questions for me.
Oh, so you have a question? Sorry, I didn't understand.
Oh, no, I said no questions from me.
Okay, so actually so locator option is done. So we will not actually further extend the class today for locator. So I will give you homework actually. You see that all of this different type of XPath formula, right? So my homework will be actually for the next class. Go to this, right? Similar like me, right? I wrote for each of these locator type, right? Name, ID. So you will be actually doing you will be doing exactly same thing for the second, which one is that? So second URL that I'll be sharing with you, this one. So far we did today Navin, right? So you guys will be doing for Salesforce. Salesforce has little less. If you go there, you see that? If you go to login, right? So what is the test scenario? Type username, then type password, and then click on login. That's it. And try to use all of these web locator concept. Means except tag name, right? So tag name will be maybe continue later when it comes find elements, but all other 7, right? You see that? Not this one. 1 to 7, except tag name. Try to implement those in your test cases for practice, basically. And when it comes to XPath, right? Also try to implement all like 5 or 6 different type of XPath writing formula I gave. Try to use those. And at the same time, I think I already told you about which one is that? Udemy course, right? Login. Okay. You see that? Just use one of them. Either 2 courses, right? From 2 different instructor. One instructor is Rahul Shetty. One instructor is Rahul Arora. I don't want you to follow both of them. There's a long course, right? Like several hours. So start using one of them, either Rahul Arora or Rahul Shetty. I think I already told last class also in the instruction. This will be your self-practice actually. But anytime any question comes, you can ask me and we can sit one-to-one, or beginning of next class, we can actually give the answer for practice point of view. So any of you has any question?
No.
Okay, so whatever I did, just follow the same concept for your practice, because this locator is very, very important for all the future classes and for interview also, actually, and at your real work also. So if you don't have any question, I can actually stop here today.
All right, thank you, bye.
Okay, I will send you in detail actually homework with the details later tonight. Actually, with the recording also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.